Welcome to the Alpine seed stage of Agora European Green Deal. We are at 2,334 meters above sea level in Innsbruck, Austria, and you're watching part 4 of our celebration of soil, seeds and senses. Why is soil the new gold? What are our 10 speakers' top ideas and visions to boost soil care in Europe? This is what I will ask them now, and I ask on stage Thomas Payham, who oversees a 100-year-old genetic seed bank in Tyrol.
Seeds are as diverse as the breeders and the landscape they are grown. Therefore, my vision is to protect and promote agricultural diversity on our fields, in our gardens and on our plates. This is important not only for Tyrol, but needs to be transferred to many other regions, not only to protect an agricultural heritage, but seed banks makes us independent and resilient to upcoming changes.
Thank you very much, Thomas. Julia Seber, the soil ecologist who is taking part in Soil Bonn, where a first worldwide assessment is being taken.
So as a soil ecologist, I wish for two things. I know that people know too little about soil, and it is, I think, our role as a scientist that we teach them, that we show them how important this resource is. And I think it's also a task of universities and research institutions to do this. Very important. And I think it is also a task of the people to listen to us scientists, because it's a two-way transfer of knowledge, which is so important. And secondly, I think, or I know that children just simply love soil animals. They don't find them gross or scary. They love them. And I think it would be also part of primary schools to teach them about soils, because then it's a very early teaching and an awareness of soils that would be very important, not only here in Austria, but everywhere in Europe and the world.
Thank you, Julia. Claudia Sacha, who established the global field in Innsbruck in June 2022, which is part of a global movement on resource justice and awareness raising.
As soil is the most important resource we need for food and material supply, my wish is that we protect soil no matter what is going on in quality and quantity. So we stop agriculture and other methods which degrade soil quality, and that we stop sealing, constructing, that we get irreversible damages, and that we protect soil as our most important resource like air and water by really strict and clear regulations. And that we educate each other to understand this importance of soil for our food supply.
Thank you very much. Anna Herringer, who says soil from Sweden to Spain gives us mud, the housing material of tomorrow.
Yes, my vision is first to build less, because every time when we build, we seal soil. And secondly, if we build new, that we really do it with natural, with local materials, mostly with earth, because it's the most important building material from my point of view. And I would love to see lots of regional earth factories that take the excavation material from all around the region and fabricate it into building components such as prefabricated earth, rammed earth elements that you can staple into multi-story buildings, or clay plaster that you can use for renovating existing structures. And I'm really deeply convinced that if we build more with natural materials, and especially with earth, that our villages, our cities, our homes and workspaces would not just be more healthy and sustainable, but also more humane and beautiful.
Thank you very much, Anna. Now let's hear from Melanie Planck, who envisions a European youth lab on soil.
Yeah, my vision would be to focus on youth, because when we look at young people in governance and democracy, we really have to admit that we are pulling the rug out from under their feet. We are blocking their future by sealing the ground they need to live. And I really think they need to have a say. So when we empower young people to actively protect the soil, we prepare the ground for a future worth living. So let's empower young people as ambassadors and protectors of soil, and let's put knowledge in their hands. We are here at the Bauhaus Initiative in the European Year of Youth. Let's use this to put words into action. So first of all, we should really focus on education. We should and we have to include easily accessible information about soil care in every school curriculum. And second, we have to create concrete opportunities to get involved. So let's not make any more decisions without young people. We need young people in every decision-making body that deals with soils. And let's open a European Youth Lab. Ambitious, long-term, cross-border on-soil care, where young people can test, implement, develop their ideas to really prepare a future that is worth living for all of us.
Thank you very much. Let's hear next from Maria Legner, who envisions spatial planning to become participatory, especially on local level.
My vision for the future is to take global warming and soil protection and democracy seriously, which would mean actually being able to talk, discuss in a productive and participative way about questions of mobility, of housing, and also of what we eat and what we produce. Those are the climate and soil relevant parts that we need to tackle, and it is necessary to work with what we have, and we do have soils that will help us enormously to adapt to climate change. We do have already a lot of existing infrastructure that is here that could be used more efficiently. But also we do have to ask ourselves what is collective decisions and what is individual rights. And I think in order to be able to transform our society, to get climate resilient, we need to be able to ask those questions.
Thank you very much, Maria. Let's hear from Christian Steiner from the Lower Austrian Rural Development Office.
Nature in the Garden is a campaign developed and launched by the province of Lower Austria, based on the principles of avoiding the use of chemical fertilizers, chemical pesticides, and peat products. So it's based on an approach, on an ecological approach on private gardens and public green spaces. Starting in Lower Austria, we have the vision that as many regions as possible in all European countries participate in this initiative, and the regions of the Alpine Convention, for instance, could be the forerunners in joining this initiative. So Nature in the Garden makes a good contribution to the European Green Deal and makes the European Green Deal visible at all levels, in the regions, in the cities and municipalities, and in the private gardens.
Thank you very much, Christian Steiner. Let's hear from Alenka Smerkol, the Secretary General of the Alpine Convention.
Next year, the Alpine Convention celebrates the 25th anniversary of signing the Soil Conservation Protocol. And it's a good time to reflect on what has been achieved, but also to look forward. And it is very clear, of course, that the nature, the soil, don't really care about national borders. And this is the reason why we only working together across borders will bring us forward. And my bold, wish is to take an action now, a bold action now, work together in order that the future generations will be able to see what we see now, to be able to still enjoy the beautiful landscapes, good food, and high quality of life, which all makes the Alpine Arc, the Alpine region, so special.
Thank you very much, Alenka Smerkol. Next, let's hear from Stephanie Pontos, the biodiversity expert and practitioner.
I envision hundreds of citizen biotopes in the Alpine region in Europe. And the citizen biotopes, they're co-created by municipalities, by scientists, by activists, by citizens. And in its very purest form, we only use local materials. So we use together local soil, but also local wildflower seeds, wildflowers that are grown in this region. And this is important because they are best suited for feeding and sheltering our animals. So this is one way where every square meter counts and where we act together to increase biodiversity.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. Let's now hear from biologist Johannes Kostenter.
In my personal capacity, I'm founder and director of International Nature Film Festival here in Innsbruck. Since more than 20 years, we are building a platform for exchange and awareness raising about nature and environment. Because film is such a beautiful way to reach people, from the children to their grandparents. Film can tell stories that connect to their lives. That's why we want to improve our efforts to strengthen environmental film festivals across borders. The topic of soil can be a central part of it. With films, real life contact and exchange, we can reach people, we can start discussions between farmers and consumers, between tourists and inhabitants, between scientists and the public, and foster the understanding that the European Green Deal is an important step for all of us, that within this European Green Deal, a living, healthy soil is key for our future life.
Well, thank you very much. 10 speakers, all of them passionate and experts about soil along the Alpine Arc, but also working for Europe and the world. Now, what is the dream and the vision of Agora European Green Deal? We want to mainstream soil awareness, soil knowledge and soil action in Europe, in our planning procedures, in our democratic institutions. We envision a soil part in every curriculum, and we want an understanding of the value of soil in the C-suite of every media organization, every finance organization, every business organization, and every political organization. We want a policy and budget boost for all the formats where people can meet and be in dialogue. We need formats for conflict resolution, but also for trust building across the board, because in the European Green Deal, we sense that via the issues and the themes of soil and biodiversity care, it's really that kids and diplomats, scientists and business people, everyone can contribute from their windowsill, their balcony, their garden, to the large framework of the European Green Deal. This was part 4 of the celebration of soil, seeds and senses. This is brought to you by Agora European Green Deal as a part of the first new European Bauhaus Festival. So follow our YouTube channel, stay tuned and activate the notification button to stay updated about our work here along the Alpine Arc for Europe. Thank you.